we're just going to dive right in. Okay, so panel, let's take a few minutes, maybe introduce yourselves and tell us what you're currently working on. You want to start off with Hafeezah?
Yeah, I'm Hafeezah. I'm the founder and CEO of Backpack Healthcare. We are a pediatric and whole family mental health company. If I do have to take a call, like I'm trying to coordinate a pick up with my kids. Yeah. Like that's a part of being a CEO and a mom. Like you just so like traveling, like something happened. So it's like, so please forgive me. Thank you for your patience in advance.
We're just introducing ourselves, Daniel. Introduce yourself and what you're working on.
So hello again, everyone. My name is Daniel Botcherby. I'm one of the co-founders of Kalda. We are an LGBTQIA plus mental health platform, and we provide kind of like, if you can think of it like as a TikTok for mental health. And we provide video-based courses to support low to mid-level forms of anxiety and depression.
Hi everyone, my name is Anisa Mokhaiar and I'm a rising sophomore at Malloy University, and I am a 2024 co-creator alumni.
Hey everyone, I'm Vitale. I'm the CEO and founder of Modality. It's a company really focused on skill building in the frontline mental health workforce and within school systems. So just imagine being able to get unlimited practice with a skill you've learned abstractly with talking to an AI agent and then getting on-demand feedback about how you did to better use all of the human expert time. Like the human experts have more time to focus on complex cases and can have like focused conversations, really focus on skill building for their trainees.
And hi everyone, I'm Guarang, founder and CEO of Violet Health. We work with health plans like United Healthcare, Centene, to help them build and scale culturally responsive networks. But a lot of our time really has been both using data and education to improve outcomes.
Thanks all. I have many questions, but I won't take all the time. So I will just bring it home and just kind of just ask, right? We have a room full of founders, co-creators that are all building really impactful digital products, services, and honestly, a lot of good in the youth mental well-being space. So with that, we have the mixer too, where you all will be present. You get to connect more. You can ask all your questions there. But if I were to ask you just one, what is one piece of advice you want to give this room of founders and co-creators from all your experience being an alumni, being a founder, and being co-creators?
About Headstream specifically?
Anything, as being a builder in the youth mental well-being space and alumni at Headstream.
I'm happy to start.
Jump in.
I'm going to sneak in two pieces of advice, mostly because they're meaningful. So I've been building Violet for about 5 years, and the two big pieces of advice that I would tell myself if I were really starting the company over again, one is get out of your own head and fix customers' problems. Of all companies, we've had partners like United Healthcare actually come back and say, hey, we'll pay you more because you're solving such meaningful problems and we want to see you scaling. So definitely fix customers' problems is one. And then the second one is don't compare yourself to anyone else. As a founder, especially solo founders, the only race you're running is with yourself. So really making sure that you're not competing with others and thinking about just competing with your own self to keep becoming better.
The first advice that comes to my mind is you're going to get so much advice. Like people love to give founders advice, and you need advice. Like I need advice. So there's like two, I think like parallel pieces of advice in there. Is one, like identify areas that you want to learn about and seek out, and programs like Headstream are amazing for like collecting amazing experts to give advice. So you get this like free access to people who are really motivated to give you their expertise, which is not as easy to get just in the wild. But then also just like tune out conversations that don't feel right. Like even if the person is saying something that's technically right, like people can say things with a lot of bias in a lot of weird way that just leaves you feeling weird. And there's just a lot, like feeling grounded and feeling confident as a founder is incredibly important. So yeah, just like tune out everything that feels like it's not serving your strength and your clarity and your business, even if you can't really put your finger on why. That's my advice.
My advice would be to, stand on your opinions, hold strong in what you believe, but also be respectful about it. These are two different generations talking to one another, and both need each other equally. One generation needs one to design a product, the other generation needs to give insight to the product that's designed for them. So both, just be understanding for one another. You don't be too pushy. This community is not like that, but I'm just saying, don't be too pushy and understand that everyone's voice matters here.
I think you all know my thoughts on co-creation and how to approach it. So my other piece of advice would be that there are a lot of advisors and like sources of information. I think the mistake that could be made is thinking that it just ends there on that one conversation or two conversations. Follow up with absolutely everybody and leave no stone unturned. And what I have gained through this process is just knowing it kind of feels quite like a small community. Like I see the same people again and again, and you'll feel that when you go to behavioral health tech. So this is a really powerful community to be a part of. So like, be present with it.
One advice I would give is that there are a lot of times that we have our gut instincts, and then sometimes we don't use it because of self-doubt. And ensuring that you know what your instincts are and be open to making more mistakes. Just make less bad ones than, but just like make sure your ratio is like on the other side. So just kind of track your mistakes because there's going to be a lot of them, but just make sure you make more good ones than bad ones. So that's like the best advice I can give.
I'm going to open it up for everyone over here. I want to make more time for you. And of course, there is the mixer. You can really get to talk. But do you have any burning questions while we're here for a fantastic group of alumni?
I have a question for those of you selling into health plans. If you're selling into a health plan, like how much time do I need to set out in my runway before I should expect to be able to sign a contract? And how many plans did you need to talk to before you were able to sell something to them?
A lot. I treat sales processes very much like fundraising processes. So we have a really long pipeline. And I love what I heard earlier. These are genuinely relationship-based sales. Most health plan partners that we've ended up contracting with, we've gotten to know them for like a year or two. From a runway perspective, I think at least like 9 months for enterprise sales. But the thing I would share is also a lot of health plans are open to pilots and they'll work with you. They know the state of your company. They know you're an early stage partner. And so what they'll care a lot more about is just, are you a trustworthy person? Are you gonna, be prompt at getting back to them, actually executing on what you're sharing? And then are you giving the early data points or signal that, hey, whatever you're trying to do, there is a path to success. So those things really mattered.
What do you do to remind yourself it's worth it when things get hard?
I think for me, it's become really important to know, or it's been valuable for me to understand like what gets me in that place, because like different people are sensitive to different things. Like something not working out in one way is hard, but like team issues are like really hard for me if things aren't going well there. And I think for me, having advisors who don't necessarily have a stake in the company, but have been at it for many, many decades, and having regular calls with them who can kind of see it from a 10,000-foot view, or sort of like, yep, this is part of the job, and who care about you and want you to kind of get through the trough. That's something that helps me. You guys?
I'm similar. I think having founder friends goes a long way. Because the truth is, at the end of the day, we're all having very similar journeys. Whether it's fundraising, it's working with like people issues, or working with sometimes customer challenges. All of those are things that people could relate and they can comment on. So just having a good group of people you actually trust goes a long way.
I'm remembering something that someone said on a similar panel. I went to this boot camp and I was in your position, and someone was like, by definition, your idea doesn't make sense. So like, don't expect your friends or even your partner or your parents like to get it. So that was helpful to me. I don't know if I'm like channeling that well.
Something that helps me, because I would tell you, like, when I say rock bottom, like through this journey, I think I've hit rock bottom like 2 times or maybe 3. So it's like, just to let you know that's normal. Because no one is being real. No one tells you the real stuff. People think you see the highlights and you think it's so pretty. No, like rock bottom, like curled up in my chair, like watching movies, and then I get an inspiration quote from a movie, and then I get back up. Like that's a shit that happens that no one tells you about, right? And no one told me that 4 years ago that really happens. So always remember who your customer is and what that is, and say, what would happen if you no longer existed? If you no longer fought for that person? Like, why does it matter? Why what you do matters every day, and who does it matter to? And if you stop doing it, who will be impacted? So then you take yourself out of the equation and you focus on the ones who would not be able to get the help they need without the work that you do. So even though at that times it might be on your couch, balled up crying, it's gonna happen. But just get back up though. That's all.
I have a question. Sometimes I feel like my identity is too tied up into my work and the mission. But I also really love my work and the mission. So any advice on like how you manage that, such that whatever problem you're trying to solve doesn't become the core of your existence, or should it be the core of your existence? What are your thoughts on that? It doesn't make sense.
You are what you eat.
Yeah, I have a lot of feelings about this. So I think your identities and who you are and why you do what you do is your superpower. Most of my literal like sales conversations or investors conversations, I actually start by being honest of, hey, I'm a gay man, I grew up on Medicaid, I am an immigrant as well. So when my family moved here, my parents, they still don't speak English. And so being able to talk about why we're focused on Medicaid health plan partnerships, why we care so much about health equity, those are all things that I think our partners, whether it's investors or customers, really actually appreciate. So I think honesty and leading with why you're doing what you're doing and who you are is actually honestly the superpower.
So well said. I wanted to add, like, I really get it, like your identity being tied to it. I think for me, one thing that has like really helped me has been almost kind of accepting, giving myself like an off ramp to say like, oh, if Kalda just isn't here tomorrow, I think the world will go on, and there will be people like fighting the good fight, and there will be a solution to this. And I think giving myself that grace has allowed me to kind of slightly detach my identity from the business, which has then invariably like improved my performance in being able to tackle all the ups and downs. Because I know how much you in particular, like you're sharing like your personal story like every day, and I really see that. And it is your superpower, but it's not, it won't be the be all and end all of you. Like you're so much more than what you're building, even though that the goal is so incredible.
I know that's not our questions. I know we're thinking a lot more and want to speak with our alumni, and so they will be there at the mixer, and I really hope you get a chance to pick their brains while they're here. Again, in person, so valuable. Hope you book it in. But that is the end of it, and thank you all so much for being here, for engaging, and for being so present. I will pass it over to Santi, but before that, just a quick round of applause for our alumni, because they are awesome. They're really the stars. Thank you so much.